That's the second time there's been a hidden cop, and I decided not to run the yellow. Alright, keep the front wheel down, keep the front wheel down, keep the front wheel down. Shift like a trucker, shift like a trucker, shift like a trucker. This guy's got the little crackle tune. I got the crackle tune too, boy. Let's crackle together, come on! I got that crackle tune! Yeah, boy! He's crackling. I'm crackling too. We just snap crackling and popping out here. Oh, good times. That's cheap fun right there, I tell you. I swear this thing always needs gas. Oh, hi. Oh, hi. We're not gonna run this today. We'll just wait. We're going for a nice little chill ride tonight. It's been hot in Florida, I'm not gonna lie. I have not been riding at all. I feel bad for everything in the garage, but it's just been too hot. I kind of want to talk about something that I think about often with this particular bike. Don't get me wrong, I love this bike, I really do. I mean, it is honestly the most beautiful bike that's ever graced our planet Earth. Anyway, today I wanted to go for a little ride and talk about what it's like to own an expensive motorcycle and why it kind of sucks sometimes. It's got its advantages, I suppose, but there are some times where it kind of sucks, not gonna lie. Honestly, the first thing that comes to mind, or the one thing that I always stress about with owning an expensive motorcycle, is the fact that I don't want to scratch it, I don't want to hurt it, so I'm extremely cautious. Now this could be a good and a bad thing, probably more for the good, but I remember having less expensive sport bikes back in the day, and I had a lot of fun on them because I didn't care if I wrecked them because they were cheap, and I didn't care if they got scratched because they were cheap. It didn't really matter. I was able to go have fun and not have to worry so much. But with this thing, I'm constantly worried about everything. The carbon fiber on the wheels, the carbon fiber on the sides, the paint, the stickers, everything. I'm just constantly worried about imperfections within the bike. And that might not be an issue for some people. If you've got it like that, good for you. I don't got it like that, so I worry, you know, just a little bit. And just so people are aware, a lot of people say, oh, you should ceramic coat it and blah blah blah. Well, ceramic coat it won't protect you against rock chips and stuff like that. So if somebody's telling you that, that's not the case. Otherwise I would have this thing ceramic coated and we'd be good, but that's not the case. A rock will still chip your shit. And I know some other guys in the area, at least in Tampa area, that have bikes like this, and they ride them like they're worth $2,000. It's insane. Good for them. I'm sure we all have great insurance. I just I don't know, it's just my baby. That's why I got the Grom, because the Grom I can ride like that. It doesn't matter. The next thing that kind of gets to me about riding an expensive bike, especially in Florida, and another one of the reasons why I haven't been riding a whole lot, is because of the weather. It's been raining like crazy, which just throws gravel all over the road. We have sand in Florida, so if sand gets on the ground or on the road, and it flings up on everything, and it's just terrible. And on top of that, I just don't want to get my bike wet, so I spend a lot of time not riding it because there's a chance of rain, and getting stuck in the rain with this bike is gut-wrenching, at least to me. Back to the earlier years of riding when I had cheap motorcycles, I didn't care if I got caught in the rain for a little bit. It didn't really bother me at all. Nowadays I'm a little softer and I don't want to get this bike stuck in the rain. But I will say that I do have the Honda Magna, which is a cheaper bike. I don't care if that one gets wet, so if it looks like it's gonna rain, I can at least jump on that bike and still enjoy a nice ride if I want to. I really wanted to do a pass over the Gandy Bridge, but that rain cloud is telling me no. Oh yes, and the mosquitoes are terrible in Florida too. They'll eat you alive. And for the next thing that I want to mention, when owning something like this, it's an expensive motorcycle, kind of somewhat of a rare motorcycle, something that people aspire to get, is that if you're ever out in public, people are gonna want to talk to you about it. People are gonna want to stop you, they're gonna want to ask questions, and you have to kind of, that's part of it, you have to deal with it a little bit. I mean, you don't have to. And it's not necessarily a downside to owning this bike, unless you're in a hurry or something like that. It's just one of those things you have to take into account when you're purchasing something like this. It's like buying a Lamborghini, taking it to 7-Eleven to put fuel in it, and then getting mad when somebody wants to talk to you about it or take photos of it or stuff like that. When you get a bike like this, people are going to want to talk to you about it. I've seen so many kids go up to certain riders and it doesn't matter the bike, it's a motorcycle and they love it, you know? So when that kid comes up to you, you just have to be excited for him to be excited, because someday that's going to be him, you know? It's going to be him. You got to be a good role model for that kid. It's going to be a social hour everywhere you go, basically. Don't make fun of my leaning right here. They're doing construction, there's gravel, I'm scared, okay? Let me be. The other thing that kind of sucks about riding an expensive bike like this is obviously the maintenance costs. I mean, it's not exactly the cheapest bike to maintain. I mean, it can be. As far as like super bikes go, it's actually not that bad. It's actually pretty reasonable. If you're comparing it to like a Ducati or something like that, this is a very, very reasonably priced bike when it comes to the maintenance that comes along with it. And honestly, I haven't even really paid any maintenance for this other than the oil changes, first service, stuff like that, which did cost more than my CBR did. But all of my maintenance and all of my repairs have been done under warranty, thankfully, because I did look up some of the parts and they are expensive. Like the coils are about 200 bucks a piece. There's 4 of them, so if you had to replace that out of pocket, that would not be fun. And then aside from just the maintenance side of it, just the aftermarket parts alone are pretty expensive. For instance, this bike that I purchased didn't come with the passenger pegs, and that was a lot of money. That was actually retailed for a 4-digit number without any periods in there. So if that gives you an idea of how much the aftermarket parts cost for this, it's not exactly the cheapest. The rear cowl alone was about 200 bucks, I think. It's just, yeah, there's a lot of things that are just kind of expensive when you come into this, because I wasn't really ready for that, because I actually had all my CBRs and those things. Everything was pretty much kind of inexpensive, honestly. It's crazy how good this thing pulls. That makes it all worthwhile. I don't really care what anybody says. The way it pulls, yeah, the front wheel just gets light. I don't even mean to do it. It just happens. And the other thing that kind of goes along with not wanting to scratch or damage any of the body parts is that my heel guards on this thing are carbon fiber. Clear-coated carbon fiber. Do you think I really want to put my heels up against that? Absolutely not. I've already done it and they've scratched, and it's very frustrating to me. I also scratched my rear cowl and I replaced it because the scratch annoyed me so much and I was so angry at myself. But these are just things that you have to look at, you know. In a bike like this, I can't be riding it around all scratched up and stuff, so if something gets messed up, I'm gonna have to replace it, and it's not cheap. It kind of sucks. Sure, and it probably sounds like I'm a spoiled brat complaining about riding this bike, but I'm just kind of giving you some insight, honestly. I kind of miss having a cheap bike that I could throw around and not really worry about. Uh-oh, it's starting to rain. This is what I mean, it's starting to rain, and I'm like, now I gotta haul ass home, try to get to the garage. So again, these are just things that I didn't really think about when I was purchasing the motorcycle. You see it as this beautiful machine and you want to jump on it and just go, but then you get rained on, and then a small scratch happens and your soul just kind of disappears a little bit and you get hurt. Your feelings get hurt. These are things I was not ready for. As with everybody's motorcycle, every motorcycle I've had, it's been my baby. All of the bikes that I currently own are all my babies. What is this lady doing? Anyway, they're all my babies, and we take care of them. But sometimes your baby can get scratched and it doesn't really hurt your feelings too much, because it's a $2,500 baby. This is not a $2,500 baby, so if it gets hurt, I cry. I'm not complaining about riding this thing. I love this bike, and I'll probably have it for a while. But it is a little stressful, and that's something that you need to consider before spending this type of money on a motorcycle. Anyway, thanks for watching, and I'll catch you on the next one. I think I'm going to wheelie the Grom next time. I think that's going to be my next video. I think so. We'll see.
This ain't a fluke. I seen it way before it ever happened. He gave me the view. I had to put in my time on the TV. It coming in soon. I couldn't leave it all up to a variant or an experience.